At 86 years old, Jack Nicklaus has finally had enough. The Golden Bear just looked at Brian Rolapp, looked at the modern PGA Tour, and delivered the kind of brutal verdict no executive wants attached to his name. According to the explosive claim now spreading through golf media, Nicklaus believes Rolapp has not simply changed the PGA Tour. He has destroyed the life's work of the men who built it. Subscribe now, because we are breaking down Jack's accusation, Rolapp's biggest crisis, and the PGA Tour revolt that could follow. Behind this confrontation sits a disagreement growing ever since Rolapp began outlining his vision for professional golf. Nicklaus has never sounded comfortable with the modern tour, particularly an increasingly crowded schedule packed with signature events, enormous purses, and constant pressure on leading players. During the Memorial Tournament, Jack publicly admitted he was not exactly in favor of what tour leadership was doing. Such controlled language might sound harmless from an ordinary host. From an 18-time major champion, however, it landed like a warning shot fired across the bow of PGA Tour headquarters. Nicklaus rarely needs to shout. His record supplies enough volume. This is the man who helped transform professional golf from a modest circuit into a major international attraction. Jack competed, promoted tournaments, designed courses, and spent decades protecting the traditions that made PGA Tour golf valuable. Seeing his concerns pushed aside feels like watching executives remodel his house without asking where the supporting walls are. Rolapp represents a different world. Before the PGA Tour, he spent years inside the NFL, where schedules, media rights, premium matchups, and commercial packaging dominate every conversation. His hiring sent a clear message. Leadership wanted somebody capable of turning golf into a sharper entertainment product. That mission includes bigger weekly moments, bringing leading players together more frequently, and making the tour harder to ignore. Those goals sound reasonable until the solution begins threatening tournaments, careers, communities, and traditions that existed long before an executive discovered the phrase content strategy. Under the model planned for 2028, the PGA Tour would move toward a defined championship series and challenger series. Promotion and relegation would determine who reaches the highest level, while stronger fields compete across a concentrated calendar built around premium events. Supporters see clarity, urgency, and meaningful consequences. Critics see a gated neighborhood with a shiny meritocracy sign outside. Nicklaus appears most troubled by tournament congestion. His concern is simple. Placing too many important competitions close together forces elite players to choose where they spend their energy. Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Tiger Woods, and every other major attraction cannot physically peak whenever a corporate calendar demands another blockbuster weekend. Major champions structure entire seasons around reaching their best form at specific moments. Packing premium tournaments together may look impressive inside a boardroom, yet the plan becomes less convincing when exhausted stars withdraw or arrive with empty tanks. That is the irony at the center of Rolapp's strategy. Executives want more meaningful golf, so they may produce too much supposedly meaningful golf. Every event gets dramatic music, an enormous purse, a premium label, and enough promotional language to make Thursday morning sound like the final round at Augusta. Eventually, viewers stop believing the hype. Here is where Jack's warning becomes far bigger than one argument over tournament dates. The memorial represents Nicklaus personally. Muirfield Village carries his competitive philosophy, architectural vision, charitable legacy, and reputation for demanding championship conditions. Jack did not attach his name to some random weekend and disappear into a hospitality tent. He built that event into one of the most respected stops on the calendar. Any change that weakens its field, damages its position, or reduces its importance will feel like a direct attack on his contribution. Rolapp may view the memorial as one strategic asset among many. Nicklaus sees decades of work, relationships, volunteers, sponsors, champions, and local commitment. Some will accuse Jack of protecting his own tournament. Naturally, he is. Nobody spends half a lifetime building a championship and then cheerfully watches executives squeeze it between two premium events because a television consultant produced an exciting graph. The dispute concerns what the PGA Tour values most: Rolapp's approach suggests star power, media performance, market size, and commercial strength will determine the future. Nicklaus believes history, competitive balance, player preparation, and tournament identity must remain central. Both men claim to care about golf, but they are reading the green from opposite sides. LIV Golf created much of this pressure. Guaranteed contracts and enormous purses forced the PGA Tour to rethink its financial structure. Signature events appeared, prize money increased, outside investment arrived, and leading players gained influence previous generations could barely imagine. Smaller tournaments paid the price. Once certain events received elevated status, every ordinary stop became easier for stars to skip. Fields weakened, sponsors grew nervous, and longtime hosts discovered that loyalty apparently carries an expiration date whenever television ratings enter the room. The PGA Tour responded to LIV by building its own version of exclusivity, then acted surprised when people noticed. Rolapp inherited that fractured landscape rather than creating it. Jay Monahan left behind enough political baggage to fill every locker at TPC Sawgrass. Player trust had already been damaged, LIV negotiations remained unresolved, and the tour's identity had become increasingly difficult to explain. Still, leadership is judged by the next shot, not the previous player's bad lie. Rolapp's solution could make the hierarchy more obvious. Top performers compete in the championship series, while everyone else fights through the Challenger Series for promotion. Relegation would create serious consequences for poor performance, giving late-season tournaments genuine tension. Television producers probably love the concept. Nothing says entertainment like attaching career panic to a 6-foot putt, yet individual golf cannot be treated like football. Teams survive injuries because rosters contain replacements. Golfers stand alone. A physical problem, family crisis, swing change, limited schedule, or run of poor form can destroy an entire season. Relegation could then become a trap once a player drops into the lower series. Reduced prize money, weaker fields, and smaller television exposure might make returning extremely difficult. Officials can call it an open pathway, but a ladder means little when somebody removes half the steps. Nicklaus built his career by defeating whoever earned a place in the field. His generation understood that unknown players could become stars through opportunity. Restricting access too aggressively risks protecting famous names while quietly eliminating the next unexpected champion. Now, Rolapp faces the question nobody inside headquarters can bury beneath another polished presentation. Is this transformation protecting golf or merely packaging it? Audiences want the best players competing together. Scheffler battling McIlroy creates genuine excitement, and Tiger appearing anywhere can still move television numbers before he even reaches the practice green. However, constant premium matchups can gradually lose their magic. Majors feel special because only 4 exist. Rivalries become powerful because anticipation builds between meetings. If every month brings another manufactured super event, audiences eventually recognize that must-watch has become marketing language rather than a genuine promise. Player reactions may decide whether Jack's anger remains isolated or becomes a full revolt. Established stars now possess extraordinary influence through board representation, commercial importance, and direct relationships with investors. Rolapp cannot simply announce a system and expect every golfer to salute from the first tee. Tiger played a role in the process that brought Rolapp into the organization. His support gives the new executive credibility, but it also creates pressure. Should Woods begin questioning how history or player access is handled, Rolapp would face an authority even corporate consultants cannot easily dismiss. Rory presents another danger. McIlroy has repeatedly supported stronger fields and meaningful competition, yet he has also shown frustration when tour decisions appear confusing, secretive, or disconnected from players. Rory will support reform when he believes it benefits the sport. Blind loyalty, though, has never been his strongest club. Scheffler usually chooses his words carefully, which makes his criticism more powerful whenever it arrives. If the world's leading player says a schedule is too crowded or physically unreasonable, Officials cannot blame dramatic personalities or social media noise. Veterans could worry about career security. Younger golfers may welcome promotion, while fearing one difficult season could close the door before their careers develop. Sponsors will demand answers about field quality and future status. Everyone supports elite competition until leadership reveals who no longer qualifies as elite. Tournament directors have strong reasons to watch Nicklaus closely. Their events depend on recognizable players, sponsor confidence, television exposure, and favorable dates. Dropping into a secondary series would be devastating. Officials may insist challenger events remain meaningful, but sponsors understand hierarchy. Nobody pays premium money to become the proud title partner of golf's second most important product. Marketing departments can smell relegation from 3 fairways away. Smaller communities could also lose access to top-level golf. Rolapp has discussed returning the tour to major markets, which makes commercial sense. New York, Chicago, Boston, and San Francisco offer obvious audiences and television appeal. Still, professional golf should not belong only to giant cities and luxury hospitality compounds. Long-standing tournaments bring major competition to regions that host few other elite events. Local charities benefit. Young supporters meet players and communities develop deep connections. Removing those stops might improve short-term numbers while quietly shrinking the tour's cultural reach. Nicklaus appears to see that danger. Officials defending Rolapp will correctly argue the old PGA Tour cannot remain frozen forever. Younger audiences watch highlights and avoid spending 6 hours staring at routine approach shots. Sponsors demand measurable value. Networks need storylines. Investors expect growth. Tradition alone cannot solve those challenges. Nostalgia also has a habit of remembering perfect Sundays while forgetting dull fields, confusing eligibility rules and tournaments that never attracted much attention. Earlier eras were not automatically fair or well organized. Reform is necessary. Bad reform remains bad reform, however, even when presented beside expensive graphics. Jack's criticism matters because he is not rejecting every change. His concern focuses on the schedule, tournament spacing, and the risk of placing too many important events close together. Those are specific competitive issues, not emotional complaints about modern equipment or prize money. Rolapp should treat that precision as an opportunity. Meeting Nicklaus and adjusting weak parts of the model would not represent surrender. Intelligent leaders change course when experience identifies a hidden bunker. Stubborn leaders drive directly into it, blame the wind, and commission a report explaining why the sand was strategically necessary. Unfortunately, sports organizations often celebrate legends ceremonially while excluding them strategically. Executives enjoy Jack presenting trophies and appearing in promotional videos. Listening becomes less enjoyable when he questions their plans. Make no mistake, ignoring the Golden Bear could turn Rolapp's ambitious overhaul into the biggest credibility crisis of his PGA Tour career. Other legends may eventually join Jack. Tournament hosts could speak publicly. Sponsors might challenge the stability of their dates. Supporters already exhausted by golf's civil war could decide another complicated restructuring proves leadership has learned nothing. LIV would exploit every disagreement, portraying the PGA Tour as divided, arrogant, and controlled by investors. That argument would contain plenty of irony coming from LIV, but hypocrisy has never stopped anybody during professional golf's ongoing soap opera. Rolapp therefore needs Nicklaus more than he may realize. Jack offers historical legitimacy that money cannot purchase. His support could reassure traditional followers that modernization will respect the sport's foundations. His opposition could convince those same people the tour has abandoned its identity. Giving Nicklaus complete control would also be a mistake. No retired champion should hold permanent veto power over the future. Markets change, weak tournaments sometimes disappear, and unsuccessful systems require replacement. Rolapp was hired because standing still had become dangerous. His NFL experience may help golf create clearer stakes and a more understandable season. Promotion and relegation could become compelling if pathways remain fair, and concentrated fields could work if the schedule protects player health and tournament spacing. The smartest solution combines Rolapp's commercial discipline with Nicklaus's competitive wisdom. This conflict ultimately exposes the PGA Tour's identity crisis. Is it a members' organization providing broad opportunities An elite entertainment league built around stars? A guardian of tradition? A commercial business responsible to investors? Trying to become everything created the current confusion. Rolapp appears ready to choose a sharper entertainment model. Nicklaus fears history, opportunity, and tournament identity will be sacrificed during that choice. Neither man can avoid the central question: who is the PGA Tour actually for? Jack's legacy makes that distinction important. Names attract audiences, but performances create legends. A healthy tour must leave room for unknown qualifiers, comeback stories, and surprise champions whose value has not been decided by a marketing department. Rolapp must preserve uncertainty because leaderboards gain power when nobody controls the ending. Sometimes the superstar misses the cut. Occasionally, the unknown player holes the winning putt. Frequently, the supposedly perfect television storyline collapses before Sunday. That unpredictability is not a problem requiring correction. It is the product. Ultimately, Rolapp is no longer adjusting a calendar. He is gambling with the identity Jack Nicklaus spent decades helping create. Longtime viewers understand why that feels personal. Grandparents watched Jack battle Arnold Palmer. Parents saw him win the 1986 Masters. Younger supporters know him as the standard against which Tiger's major record is measured. Hearing Nicklaus express dissatisfaction confirms fears already spreading across the sport. Money has become louder, governance murkier, and tournament names constantly change while officials announce frameworks, investments, committees, and strategic visions. Somewhere beneath that paperwork, people keep asking for compelling golf. Rolapp has not physically destroyed the PGA Tour, and his 2028 overhaul has not started. Nevertheless, dismissing the Golden Bear could destroy trust before the opening shot. Reform needs legitimacy, and purse increases cannot purchase it alone. History matters, opportunity matters, local tournaments matter, competitive rhythm matters. Rolapp must prove modernization includes those values rather than treating them like sentimental obstacles. Jack has delivered the warning shot. Polite language kept the ball inside the ropes, but the message traveled directly toward headquarters. Pressure rests on Rolapp's next move. Will he treat Nicklaus as a respected advisor capable of improving the plan, or dismiss him as an inconvenient voice from an era the tour wants to leave behind? That decision could reveal more than any presentation, purse announcement, or promotional campaign. Professional golf stands at a crossroads between becoming a streamlined premium league and remaining the broad competitive ecosystem that created its greatest stories. Rolapp believes structure can rescue attention. Nicklaus fears excessive structure will suffocate character. Only one outcome protects the tour: innovation that respects history, rewards performance, and gives every tournament enough space to matter. Drop your opinion below. Is Jack Nicklaus protecting the soul of the PGA Tour or standing in the way of necessary change? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more golf bombshells, player revolts, and executive drama. This fight has barely reached the first tee, and Rolapp's next shot could change professional golf forever.